I've got the trinomial 3x squared plus 8x plus 4. And right off the start, I want to note that a is not 1. The coefficient of my squared term is not 1. That should be an indication to you that we're going to do the magic number factoring method. Okay? So just want to highlight that again. This number is not 1. That's an indication that we use magic number. If it was 1, we could potentially do what we did yesterday or Monday. Okay? So, first thing we look for. What does the first step say? GCF. Always, always, always look for a GCF. It will make your life a lot easier if you pull any of those out that you can. Do I have anything that's common to both 3, 8, and 4? No. Okay? They do not all divide by the same thing. So you can just put a line through that step. Okay? I don't have a GCF. Or you can write no GCF, or you can write NA for not applicable, whatever. Okay? There's no GCF. Okay? Then the official step 1 is finding the magic number. Okay? Here's how that's done. We take the first coefficient and the last number. Right? The coefficient of the squared term and the constant, and we multiply them together. That will create the magic number. Okay? And I'll tell you why it's the magic number in a second. So what is 3 times 4? 12. Okay? So 12 is the magic number. So in that blank you would write 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay? The first number, the first coefficient, times the last number, the constant. Got that? That's how you find the magic number. Okay? Step 2 is to find factors. Okay? In this step, what you need to do is you need to find 2 factors that multiply to equal the magic number. Not just this one, the magic number. 2 numbers that multiply to equal the magic number and add still to equal the middle. So it's a little bit like we did last day. Right? Last day you were looking for 2 factors that multiply to equal 4, or the last number, and added to equal the middle. So it's a little bit different, right? This time it's 2 numbers that multiply to equal 12 and add to equal the middle. Okay, so just think of some possibilities. What are pairs of numbers that multiply to equal 12?
2 and 6.
2 and 6.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. 1 and 12. And which of those, when I add them together, do I get 8?
2 and 6.
2 and 6. Okay? So those are the factors that I'm looking for. Again, they multiply to equal 12, the magic number, add to equal 8. Got that? Okay. So far it's pretty similar to what we did last day. 3. Okay? Split. And this is why this method is called factoring by decomposition. What we do is we take this 8 here and we split it so that it's split into 2 parts that if I multiply the coefficients, I get my magic number, and if I add them, I get 8x. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I take 3x squared, and I'm going to split 8x into, maybe I'll use green to show you what I did, 2x and 6x plus 4. Okay, so let me just pause here because maybe that step can seem confusing. I used these 2 factors in my last step to tell me what I split 8 into. Notice that if I added these 2 numbers together, what does that equal? 8x. So I haven't really changed anything about my expression, right? I've just changed what it looked like. Okay, and you may be wondering, well, why do we do that? I'll show you why in a moment. Okay, but just so you're clear on why I split it into 2 and 6, I did it based on the information I got from step 2. Follow me? See, I've got 2 here, there's a 2, 6 here, there's a 6. And if I add them together, I still get 8x. So this is still the same expression, just with that middle term split apart. Are you okay? Okay. Step 4 says 2 groups. So what you do is you take your now split trinomial and you break it into two groups using brackets. This is kind of like what we did in 5.2. Okay, I group the first two terms together, and I group the last two terms together. That's two groups. One group here, one group here. Okay, step 5, we factor both of those groups. So I ask myself, what is the greatest common factor out of these first two terms only?
X.
Just x. Okay, so that leaves me with x, and what's left over?
3x.
3x plus 2, good. And out of the second pair, what can I factor? 2. Okay, so plus 2, and then what's left over?
3x.
3x
Plus 2.
plus 2.
Whoa.
Okay,
Neat.
now we can pause right here and get some assurance for ourselves that we're doing it right. If this and this are the same, these two factors, if they're the same, you know you've done everything right so far. Okay? You cannot continue past this step if these two are not the same. Maybe that would be a good thing to write underneath. Okay? Just write, maybe underline those and write must be the same. Okay? Step 6, binomials. We're almost done. So you remember how when we factored trinomials, at least last day, they factored into the product of two binomials? Right, we just did that with this example up here. We took our polynomial, or our trinomial, and we factored it into the product of two binomials. Same thing's going to happen over here. Okay? Your first factor, or one of your factors, will be what's inside of these brackets. Again, they both have to be the same, and if they are the same, one of those is your factor. Okay? So that becomes 3x plus 2 as one of my factors. The other factor is the coefficients of those terms. Okay? X plus 2. That's your other factor. Okay? I'm going to do a little bit of an aside here to help you believe that that makes sense. Okay? You'll remember we did problems like this where I said something like, let some letter like A equal 3x plus 2. Right? And then I said, okay, what can I factor? Or I'm going to replace this and this with A. So that gives me ax plus 2a, right? And then I do greatest common factor, so I factor out that a, and that leaves me with x plus 2. And then I replace a back with what it substituted for, 3x plus 2. So that gives me 3x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay? So all I've done is a shortcut here. I've just done a shortcut where I'm getting to the same place in both instances, but I'm just doing it a little quicker. Okay? So once more, this is one of your factors, and then so that goes here, and then the other factor is your coefficients, x plus 2. Okay? The last step we do is we check. Okay, so step 7. Now we check. How do we check that this is right? Multiply them. Okay? So we're going to check by multiplying. So let's just do that quick. We're going to FOIL, or distributive property, same thing. Okay, so this gives me 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 2 is 6x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. And I simplify the middle. And I should end up where I started. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Good. Cool, eh? Mm-hmm. Lots of steps?
Yeah.
Feel like you fell off the bike?
No.
No?
No.
It's digestible? Mm-hmm. Good.